Yo, way.
How you beastie?
What's up, brother? Finally, technology is a challenge on my end, bro.
No, it's cool, man.
That's good. How
How's it
you doing?
going?
Good, good. Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
How's the family in quarantine?
Nah, the family is good. Obviously, going a little bit insane now, man. Being kept behind doors for so long, but yeah, nevertheless, we're bonding.
Forced bonding.
Was bonding, you know. And your side, man. How's the family? How they doing?
Yeah, everyone's fine. Happy and healthy, which is the most important thing.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. You have to be
but
grateful for that.
the little one's full of energy, so it keeps me going, keeps me young.
I know, man. I'm still to come through and really just get familiar with the newborn, the new one.
I'm gonna drop him off there for a weekend. I hope you're okay with that.
I know, man. I can babysit. I can tell. I'm an expert now, man. I just keep them busy all the time. That's the answer.
I thought you would have come out with that book first.
I have to be a dad.
How to be a dad. So how are things? What have you been up to post World Cup and after the celebrations? How have you kept yourself busy?
Yeah, I've been up to quite a lot, man. Obviously went to the States on a year contract to play for a team in DC, and everything was going great. I was enjoying being in the capital, and obviously playing in a league that's pretty young. So I was playing more of a mentorship role there and just helping young players
Yes,
to kind of learn how to be professionals, ultimate professionals, and just try and impart some of the knowledge that I've acquired over such a long career. But
yes,
that got cut short by the coronavirus. So yeah, it
yes.
was a bit of a sad ending. So right now, I don't know if I will go back next year, but it's up in the air at the moment.
Well, yeah, I think we both have a penchant for American sporting culture. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know we've both woken up at ungodly hours to watch NBA games or NFL games. So, is there any reason for you why you gravitate towards American sports, or why you've always um, had a keen interest in American culture and the way their sports operate?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I've always been a big fan of American sports. And, I think what attracted me the most was that, rugby is kind of untapped, it's got untapped
Mm,
potential in the US. And I know once they buy into something, it becomes that much bigger. You look at soccer, how small it was before David Beckham went there. And then all of a sudden it just like became one of the big sports. And,
yes.
they just put a lot of money into it. So I kind of saw that, happening for rugby. That was like my wish, and hopefully it still does happen. But obviously my love for basketball is it was one
It's
of the draw
unmatched.
cards.
It's unmatched.
Yeah, it was one of the draw cards, and pretty amazing to kind of be able to go watch, watch the Wizards play in the arena, and
Mm,
just get familiar with some of the players. And that was really something I kind of cherished. And the Lakers were actually coming to town. They were going to play the Wizards, I think, two
okay.
weeks. Uh, Before the Corona kind of came and ruined everything.
Yes.
So I had my
Yes.
seats already lined up to go watch LeBron, man, to go watch LeBron play against the Wizards.
Yeah. It's obviously derailed everything, but I think obviously sports should be coming back slowly, and I'm sure a lot of people are anxiously waiting for any sort of sport, that entertainment. You know what I mean? So yeah, it would have been nice to see LeBron. He was on a good run at the Lakers, picking up some good momentum.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
still
that's right.
hope, I still hope he can get his fourth ring this year.
I know it looks like they're gonna start playing in Disney World from the 15th of July. That's what it looks like. So everybody's going to be there until the end of the season. So all the games will be in Orlando. So which is really cool. But I guess the break that we had now kind of broke the momentum. So the challenge now will be for them to just pick it up, right from the start. I think a lot of teams are, they're going to be seeing this as like a window of challenge. They'll try and be opportunistic and try and topple them up. But I think they'll still win. I think they're just too good a team to lose to anybody right now.
Crossing fingers, buddy. I see Tom Brady still playing, so maybe there's an outside chance I get to watch him one day.
Oh,
and probably in warmer climates because he's at Tampa.
Oh yes, yeah, he's in Florida now. Yeah, hey, I know you're a big NFL fan. So you should go. You have to go watch him play before he retires.
Well, I think he's got another 10 years, so it's still some time to go.
Oh man, yeah.
Talking about challenges, you come from humble beginnings, meaning you used to ride your bike to the Sharks. Do you remember those days vividly when you used to ride your bike to get to training practices? Now,
I'll never forget it.
So now, listen, post-rugby, are you going to get into cycling to re-inspire yourself from your roots, those days you used to ride into the Sharks Stadium?
Definitely. I've always been a big fan of cycling, man. Yeah, I used to do my tour to Durban every single day to train and go back home. So, it was always a joke, for most of the guys. They used to tease me. But, it actually helped me to become much fitter. So it's something that I'm definitely going to get back to now, since I'm done. And I'm probably done with playing rugby. And just to keep fit, just get a stationary bike, probably a watt bike, and just, cycle from time to time to make sure that I stay in good shape.
Yes. And what obviously you spoke about retirement. What excites you about the next chapter of your life? Is there anything new or new passions you're working on, or any activities that you've aligned yourself with post rugby?
Yeah, well, I'm actually currently studying my MBA. I just went back to school, man. It's always been a dream of mine to get back to my academics, get back to studying, and just kind of give myself the right qualifications that I need to excel in a business environment. So prior to my rugby kind of taking off, I was doing a BCom marketing, and it kind of got hampered by my progress in rugby, so I put it in the back burner. And then now eventually that I finished, I've always wanted to go back to my books. So I got sold the idea of doing an MBA by one of my closest mates in the UK. He did it a few years ago, and he told me that it's one of the most amazing things that you could do to challenge yourself and grow and just prepare yourself to excel in the corporate world. So so it's keeping me busy. I started 2 weeks back, man, and I'm just basically doing a bridging course called PG Dip. And then from there, it'll go straight into an MBA. So it's going to take me about 3 or so years to complete it. So it's going to be a long time studying. But I'm very energized for it. I'm very motivated because I know that I want to excel, in the business world just as I excelled in the rugby field. So for that to happen, I got to study.
Yes. So we're going to start calling you Dr. Beast eventually, or Dr. Tendai. Do you change your name post rugby?
Unfortunately not. The way I guess, man, being my same old self, And then also another thing, I'm involved with Fidelity Security, so that's also like keeping me very busy. I'm now fully involved in just making my way, learning more about the business, and I've got a great opportunity to actually run my own company. So awesome. VAR has really been a great mentor to me.
That's awesome, dude. And obviously, I don't think people understand how humble and how much humility you actually possess inside of you. How have you kept that humility in a career that's obviously been so successful, to block out the distractions and just to maintain that sense of who you are as a person?
I think, well, for me, it's always been about my faith. I think my faith has really kept me grounded. All along my career, I can tell you I faced a million challenges. I had a lot of tough battles, sleepless nights. I went through stuff that a lot of people didn't see me coming out of. But because of my faith, in Christ, and he managed to pull me through out of the fire, out of the tough times. So I definitely, rose up, from the ashes, time and time again. And yeah, man, that has always been probably the reason why I stayed so humble, because I've always realized that, I'm representing him on the field, on and off the field. And, it gave me purpose in my life. When I got saved, that's when I really found true purpose in my life. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. And I can tell I'm not perfect. I've had moments that I've also kind of just, done things that are not of my character. But, God has always pulled me out of it and just always kind of straightened me out. So, I'm grateful to, to have the Lord in my life. And that has been the secret to everything I have, my humbleness. It's all because of him. Yeah.
And I think it's so important to have that vulnerability, to understand that you're not the finished product, you're not perfect, and I suppose that keeps you grounded and also motivated to a certain degree. Because I can understand, with all the pressures of trying to maintain a professional career, family, business career, it must be quite something to try and maintain that balance. And I think to lean on your faith is most important, especially for a public figure like yourself.
Yes, indeed, right. It's very important. I think, I find, my foundation at the right time. I think before my rugby took off, that's when I pretty much found Christ, and he just gave me the right foundation for me to build, and everything that happened, after that was just, a testimony in the making. And I just went from breaking barrier after barrier, and people were saying, how is this boy doing it, this young boy from Zimbabwe? But I was being strengthened by him. I found my strength in Jesus, and that's how I could stand the test of time. And it's been my secret weapon.
That's so awesome, bud. And obviously you've had a lot of incredible moments throughout your career. Is there any moments on the rugby field, or obviously the obvious one would be lifting the World Cup, but maybe a few that stand out for you?
Oh, yes. I've had some amazing moments on the rugby field. And I think if I had to try and pinpoint out a few, that's going to be very hard. But I think if I pick out, my 100th test, running onto the field with my kids, that was really special. Playing 100 tests for the Springboks is something that, that doesn't come every day. And, to be, the fifth guy to do it was really special. And the first African, and I think something that really just made me, go down on my knees and just be grateful, man, because rugby is such a it's such a tough game that you can fall down at any second. You can get injured, and your career can be stopped at any second. So for me to last that long, to play through so many games, I'm really grateful, man. And 100 tests was special, and then winning the British Irish Lions in 2009 at the beginning was truly remarkable. That first test, when I made my name, pretty much, that's when the whole world kind of found out about Beast, because I was still a young man, trying to find my way, onto the big stage. And so really putting on a great performance. And that first test was something it probably led me to just, performing after that, game after game. So all that confidence I took from that game, I carried out for the rest of my career. Yeah.
Yeah, you alluded to your being a centurion in the international arena, which is no small feat. I think you're in very small company there. So it's obviously something to be very proud of. But if I look at your time with the Springboks, you've been with many different groups through the years. Maybe just speaking a little bit about your World Cup winning group, what has made this experience for you different? Because you've played with some exceptionally gifted rugby players in your career.
I think what really made this group special was that we became really close in a short period of time. We went always together for the 4 years building up to the World Cup, and I was very privileged to be a part of many Springbok teams. And I think before 2019, or probably before 2015 even, I was still considered somewhat a young player in the team. But after 2015, I became a senior player. So I became more influential on the team. And the way I led was, through my actions, what I did. So many players would come up to me, young guys about to make their debuts, and they would always try and find guidance from me and ask me, hey, how does it feel to play in a test match? Then I had to be the one to kind of advise them and give them, just confidence, going into their first test, and, try and impart the knowledge that I've gained over the years, so it just became such a big role for me. And, and then obviously we went through that torrid time in 2016 and 2017. And, everybody was just saying the Springboks are nowhere, and Springbok rugby has died. And, everything was looking all doom and gloom. And I just had to, really stay strong and believe. I can tell you I almost quit. I almost hung up my boots in 2017. And, thank God that, Rassie came back, because I remember one of the first things, when he came back, what he did is that he went around to all the unions, and he sat down with the teams, and he kind of addressed the problem that, this is how the world sees us right now. We are a country that is proud. We are, we've been world champions, twice before, and we've got a standard of excellence, and we have dropped ourselves in a huge way. And, we've let down the Springbok brand. And he went down and, he just went to everybody, and he was honest. And he said, what, here's the thing. We have to rebuild the Springbok brand again. And at that time, I was busy battling with a lot of things inside. I was like, should I maybe move on? Maybe my time in a Springbok jersey is done. And I remember sitting down with Rassie, afterwards when he came to the Sharks. And then, I remember saying to him, I've got an offer from overseas, but right now I think I want to stay, because one of the reasons why I play rugby is because I want to win a World Cup. So, and then we had a heart-to-heart, and he told me that, hey, you are part of my plans, but you have to decide what you want to do. I can't decide that for you. And, I had to really think about it. I had to pray about it. I spoke to my wife about it. And after everything, I knew in my heart, man, that I want to win a World Cup. And that's what gave me like a new lease of life. And I knew that Rassie was, he was never going to pick a Springbok team like going forward from, 2018. That was based on reputation. Everything was all about what you put up on the field. Everything was about, how good you're doing your job. So I just focused on literally making myself the best version of myself. I worked hard. I put myself through a training regime that a lot of sportsmen wouldn't, because I knew that in my heart that all I wanted to do was to win a World Cup and possibly, retire. So that gave me like that energy for the 2 years. And then as a team, everybody just bought into the whole vision that Rassie had. He came in and got rid of the, the arrogance, the complacency, and he brought hard work, discipline, focus, and direction. And everybody just kind of just followed suit. Everybody came together, and we just started, like performing when everybody was saying, hey, this Springbok team is going to fall to pieces and they're never going to win a World Cup. And then in 2 years, it took what? It took 12 tests or 15 tests for us to get to the World Cup, and we'd probably lost 50% of our game before 2018, and for us to go from having a 50% win record to winning so many tests prior to the World Cup, and eventually only losing one test in 2019 was just remarkable, man. So I think that just makes that group, the most special group that I've been part of. And, you mentioned the characters, having a guy like Sia, somebody that I love to pieces, man. Sia is a wonderful bloke, and he was the right guy to lead the team, and he did exceptionally well. So there was just so much special parts to this, well-oiled machine, that performed at the highest level and achieved the impossible.
And obviously, you speak a lot about Rassie. What did you enjoy about his leadership? Obviously, you've had many coaches through the years, many special coaches, but that marriage with the Springboks at that time was unbelievable. I think the resilience you guys showed was incredible, and people obviously don't see what's happening behind closed doors, and how you guys getting ready, and how you're getting motivated, and how you're getting that mental prep in before big games. So how is Rassie's leadership style, and what did you learn from that experience working with him?
Before I answer that question, I just saw my younger brother Moses.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I just want to send him a shout out, and everybody else that's watching this live chat right now. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. So I think Rassie's approach was quite simple. He came in and he addressed the problem. He said, this is the way the world is viewing us, and the problem probably right now the team has is complacency. And, a lot of, I can tell you for those 2 years, 2016 and 2017, there was this culture of just being lazy-daisy, that had grown on the team. Guys would just kind of get picked, and they would just, think that, I've made it now. I'm now a Springbok, I'm the man, and not really, do the work, on the field. It's all about the sideshows, how many numbers, how many followers I have on Instagram, how many followers I have on Twitter, just, the more of the, the fame than the actual job. So there was a lot of complacency, man. And he addressed it, and he said, what, we are worried about the wrong things. And right now, there's a young kid out there who comes and watches, to watch the Springbok play, and then he has to see, guys that are his role models let down his country, in the manner that they were doing, That is probably the most sad thing about this whole situation, that there's lots of young people out there that look up to the Springbok team, and they're being let down. So, he addressed it like that, and he said, we're not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be honest with everybody. And he wrote this whole little cycle of a Springbok. He said that, I'm sure a few people have seen the videos circulating on Twitter. He described a Springbok's life cycle. That at first you're desperate to be a Springbok. You want to do anything to get in that Springbok team. So you perform at the Bulls, at the Sharks, at the Stormers. You play your heart out, and then the coach at the time, sees you. He selects you into his squad, and then you still you got the hunger. You got the you want to play, you want to sing that national anthem, and then eventually you do. And then, that passion carries you for about, 20, 30 tests. You play, and then after those 30 tests, then you start getting a bit, complacent. I deserve a big deal, I deserve a big contract. And then you start cutting corners, you start, resting on your laurels, and then eventually becoming entitled. And then that's when you lose form, and that's when the system literally spits you out, and then you don't last long. Then you don't become a 100 test veteran because of that attitude. So he said it simply as that. He's like, I want guys that are hungry. I want guys that will do anything to wear the Springbok jersey, no matter if you've played one test, no matter if you've played 50 100 tests, whatever it might be. But I want guys that would do anything to wear this jersey. I want warriors. And he said, you know, he had a clear picture of what he wanted, and he got it across to everybody in all the unions. And he said, everybody's got a chance to play for the Springboks. I'm not going to go there and pick you because of your name. So you have to show me, that you want this badly enough. And then we all bought into it. He got all the coaches around, the country to buy into his plan, how he wanted to raise players, how he wanted to manage them. And so he just got everybody working towards one direction. So for me, it was something that I probably hadn't experienced before. I think most coaches before him have always tried to kind of beat around the bush. They don't like to address, the elephant in the room. Sometimes, transformation. That's it's a big issue in South Africa. Transformation is something that was constantly being addressed. That we need to select a team that is well representative of the country, that is diverse enough, and then a lot of coaches didn't know how to get that across to the team, because they would think, hey, it's a political issue, and I shouldn't be so outspoken about it. But Rassie was like, hey, guys, here's what it is. We have to make sure that we put a Springbok team that fully represents our country, and for that to happen, we have to have a balance. And he addressed it, like he went straight for the head. So nobody in the team would, had any doubt about what he was trying to achieve. Everybody knew it was either you're in or you're out. That was the case. And then eventually, guys were just performing. You name it, Apiwe, Pimpi, and then guys just started coming, to good form at the right time. And then before we knew it, we had a Springbok team that had almost like 50-50, and it was fully representative of the country, and for us to have Sia as the captain, the first black captain, was just remarkable. It was it was kind of the right time. Everything just came together, and Rassie orchestrated this perfect perfect play, and it was a masterpiece, to some extent.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think obviously everyone was very proud of you. I mean, I think everyone was cautious going into the World Cup because it is knockout footy. So it's a very stressful time. And obviously that leans a lot on you guys that are in the camp and embracing media and the pressures of the critics, and you're not doing this correctly and you're doing that correctly. So I think what you guys did successfully was to block out the noise and know exactly what you were trying to achieve, and the whole squad was going to get there no matter what. So that was remarkable to see a team come together and look more and more confident as they went on, and it honestly looked like you guys were unbeatable when everything is that in sync. I mean, you live for moments like that. If you go to the World Cup, was that fixture for you, that last game, the final? Did everything fall into place more than you could have ever imagined?
I think, it was definitely a journey. And I think most of the work was done, prior to actually getting to the World Cup. So, the preparation we did, in that rugby championship and 2018, everything we spoke about was about achieving our ultimate goal, and our ultimate goal was winning the World Cup. So Rassie, the whole time, he put this like step-by-step diagram, for everybody to see. And it was like, okay, this is the first test we're playing. And 2018, the first test was England. We played that 3-test series, And he said, you know what, every step we take from this moment on is going to lead to the ultimate. So he had the final goal there, which was the World Cup final. So he said, along the way, we're probably going to have disappointments. We're probably going to lose, a few games, but we're not going to lose a lot, because we're going to work. We're going to work very hard and make sure that we give ourselves, the highest chance of being successful. So he made sure that he was realistic. He wasn't too optimistic. He just told us, guys, we're going to have to work hard. That's for a fact. And sometimes we pay too much attention to the actual physical work that happens on the field, but the other stuff like off the field, the analysis, making sure that you know your opposition. We are also going to work just as hard. and Russie and Jacques Nina, but they had this almost sixth sense. They always used to, analyze teams to the core. They would know exactly, their style of play, what they do at this specific time on the field, and if they're under pressure, what do they go to? So they did all their time. They watched a lot of film. So when we were playing Super Rugby, they'll be watching a lot of film. They'll be watching the Six Nations. Russie will travel back and forth. So they just analyzed everything. And everything was just about the World Cup. It wasn't about winning a championship. It wasn't about, winning the 3-tier series against England. It was about, is our standard good enough for us to win the World Cup? It was always like, what we went back to. So that's what he did very well. So we just kept on, building on this step-by-step process and preparing, putting ourselves in high pressure situations and training and, and just digging that much deeper. And then eventually when that first game, we actually lost, we lost in New Zealand in that first game of the World Cup. Yeah. And there was a lot of doubts, there was a lot of people saying, hey, I think now they've got a reality check, and now they're possibly going to go on a downward spiral. And there was a lot of negative talk. And Russie was like, so positive. I think at that stage, I won't lie to you, I probably had a little bit of doubt, when you get a knock in your
human nature.
Human nature. You literally start thinking, hey man, are we doing something wrong? Are we going to make it? And then Russie was the most confident guy in the room, man. And he just said it straight up, guys, we are going to win this World Cup. After we lost in the change room, that's what he said. The first thing he said, we are going to win this World Cup. And I need you to believe this. And I need you to buy in. We've got the right plan. We made a few errors today. Certain things didn't, work out for us. We didn't take the chances that we had on the table. So we just need to go tweak a few things. But I'm telling you, we will win this World Cup. And he was so positive, man. So I was like, geez, man, if my coach is that positive, hey, I need to be positive too. And they just rubbed onto the guys. And then from that, from that New Zealand game, we just played to our strength. And one of the things that the Springboks do very well is physically abuse other teams. We just
you're putting it very politely.
Exactly. So, we went back to what we're good at, and that is, to outmuscle other teams.
Abrasiveness.
Abrasiveness. We just scrummed, and we just did, driving moves, and then, we laid a platform for our backs to play. At first it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. When we played against Namibia, we were just grinding. It was looking, like ugly, but it was effective. And we just used to, make other teams tap out. Italy, probably that Italy game was one of the most physical games I've ever played in, because Italy were talking so much before that, saying that they're going to match us. And we went and we battered them, man. We beat them out so badly, man. Those guys, they didn't want to stay on their field.
While you're speaking, it actually, the speech you're making now is a lot of shades of like Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. In terms of that mentality, you don't want to give Michael Jordan even an ounce of motivation against you. And to the wrong opposition, it will be a very painful day at the office. And I think you guys illustrated that Mamba mentality, the Kobe Bryant mentality, and that MJ ruthlessness to the T. And then also you speaking about how important detail is. I mean, everyone sees the 80 minutes on the park, but all those minutes before. I mean, I was speaking to Brad Moore a couple of weeks ago, the new New Zealand assistant coach, attack coach. And he says it's all about the moments every day. What happens on Saturday is a culmination of all your hard work. But if you neglect all that detail, all that investment, putting the money in the bank in the week, it shows on the weekend. So I think your coaches putting that amount of emphasis on the detail and analysis definitely helped you guys, or at least you understood how important that part of your game was to lifting the World Cup.
Definitely, Way. I think, the preparation is key. Exactly like you put it there. Every single day is to count. And, every single day is an opportunity for you to get better. So you can't just, see certain days as a waste and just say, I'm going to go through the motions and just get by. Because you eventually be found out. If you want to be exceptional, any athlete out there who's been exceptional, who's won a gold medal, where the Olympics, has done, wonders, broken records. They've done something out of the ordinary. They've done something. They've used up the time they've had wisely. They've put themselves through this training regime that nobody else is willing to do. They just dig that much deeper, and that's why they're where they are, because of the sacrifices that they've made. So to all the young aspiring athletes out there, you want to be exceptional, you want to be great, you want to win a World Cup, you want to do something really amazing. You have to use every single day, every single moment you have, to get better, to work on your craft.
And you're not promised tomorrow. Look, we all hope we're going to stay injury-free, or maybe some tragedy doesn't befall us. But to have that gratitude for every day and making sure that you use the most of it, I think is something that gets very neglected, because people, human nature again, tend to look at the end result. They don't necessarily want to work to get to the end result. They just hope that they can wave their magic wand and it will miraculously appear in front of them. So obviously it's harder. I mean, your career spanned over a decade and some change. To keep yourself motivated on the days when it is tough, when you are feeling sore, when you maybe have an emotional issue you're dealing with, it takes a lot of willpower, and you have to lean on a good foundation that you have built on.
That's very true, and that's very true. You have to, you have to get yourself up, and most of that, motivation is, self-belief. It's what you believe on your inside, what you want to achieve, what you want so badly. So only you can drive that. You can't there's nobody out there that can know what makes you tick. Only you do. And you have to find that. And, I can tell you how I had days when it was really tough, to get going, especially I did 14 preseasons. So, when you
we never remember the seasons, we remember the preseasons.
You remember the preseason when you have to do one more 400 on a hot day in Durban, where the humidity is like 80% or something crazy. And then you have to go do it, because
you got to go to a dark place. You got to go to a really dark place.
You have to go, exactly. You have to go to a dark place. So you have to know what you want to achieve. So that's why, you have to write it down, see it every single day, put it on your wall. This is what I want. I want to become a Springbok. I want to play Super Rugby. I want to win a Super Rugby title, whatever it might be. You got to write it down, visualize those goals every single day.
I think we kind of summed it up there, Beast. Maybe it's a good time to call an end to this this Instagram live chat. But obviously, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing a little bit of insight into your mind. And I think a lot of people will receive this in a good, positive way, and hopefully learn something from it. So thank you very much for shining a light with your positivity, your humility, your leadership, and everything that you've done for the game. Thank you very much.
Nah, thanks, Wade. Thanks for the kind words, man. It's been great chatting, and let this not be the last.
Well, let's hope Odwa doesn't try to get us to play golf. I'm not sure I'm there yet mentally, so if it doesn't involve golf, it's okay.
We'll go shoot some hoops, shoot some hoops sometimes.
Okay, brother. Lots of love, Chat soon.
Thanks very much. Love to the family, brother. Take
Cheers,
care.
brother. Bye.
Yeah.